Well. Welcome, everybody. Monday's show. Reaction Monday. Sup from New Jersey. Robert, all the way up in the Northeast. What's going on, brother? Okay. Whew. Last 24 hours have been absolutely crazy. That is the most work I have ever done since being a Razorback, I don't know what you want to call it, YouTuber, social media influencer. Someone called me that the other day on Twitter. I'm not really sure what the hell that means, but yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yo! Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. If you guys would be so kind, like, comment, share the content. If you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button. Check out all the links down below. If I look tired, if I sound tired, my eyes are red, I'm running on, I'm not kidding, like 4 hours of sleep. I did not have time to get any coffee made up. I really wish I had a good warm cup of coffee right now. I am dragging. It's been a lot of work the last 48 hours. Really excited about, oh, thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Kelly, how you doing, girl? I am flying solo, by the way. I did see your comment earlier. I'm sorry. I was trying to get everything put up on social media. I am flying solo. Yesterday was interesting because in the morning I had a text sent to me. I don't remember, somewhere between 10 and I think about 11:30 that the rumor had been that it was Pittman would be the guy. And I didn't believe it because this individual loves to just send me stuff, and I swear to God, he's right like 20% of the time. So I didn't believe it. And he was right. Not that I'm saying that that's a bad thing. I just had to own up because I was like, yeah, right, okay. All right, I'll just call him K for the sake of, for I don't think he wants me throwing his name out, but he was right, and I had to own up to it. But so Pittman is the guy. I know we had the reaction show last night. So let me read chat really quick. Sweet, it's like Christmas. CJ, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Hey, what's up? What's going on, Dakin? How's it going? Pit Boss, it is the man. Okay. Remember, please share the content, guys. I had a really cool message too today. Apparently, people play me in their office on their TVs in their office, and apparently, so someone was talking to me today in the DMs, and they're like, "Yeah, we got you up on the office, and we're all Hog fans, and we all just sit and listen and do our work while you talk." I thought that was really cool. I've seen stuff like that before, where someone's like, "Yeah, we have you on in the garage. I have your podcast on or whatever, and we listen to you while we're working on cars or whatever." So I thought that was really neat. I just turned off Zach and Rusk for my boy Ty. What's going on, John? Thank you. I appreciate that. So, all right, last night, let's talk. First off, it was completely my idea. Before we get into the Pittman stuff, I promise we'll get there. It was my idea. I Marco Polo'd the guys, and I said, I want to do this live show, and let's do it live, and we'll make it the Hog Talk podcast. I know some of you in chat were getting a little upset that I wasn't responding to you. Some of you were mad that I wasn't talking. That was the podcast. I mean, if you guys have ever listened, it's 25% me, 25% Jacob, 25% Porter when we have him on, and then our guest, right? We have to try to share that airtime because that's not my show. It's me, Jacob, and Porter. It's our show together. That's what the Hog Talk is. And I promise you guys, you'll love the show, the podcast. Most people, I mean, we have really nice reviews over there on iTunes. I know that's not what you guys are accustomed to. You guys are accustomed to me. So I didn't think to give you guys more of a heads up that, hey, this isn't Ty. This is Hog Talk plus our guest, Zach. Zach was brutally honest last night. Brutally honest. I didn't agree with everything that he said, and we didn't have the kind of time. I wish we had a full, like, maybe another hour to kind of go back and forth. I could tell he and I think he could tell that I had more to say, but I left it at that. You know, we talk. We've talked a little bit on in some other places, and I'd love to have him back on. I also didn't agree with his assertion on Kiffin. On the air, he was very critical of Kiffin coming here, and I didn't agree with him everything there. I wish we had more time to go back and forth, but again, it's me, Jacob, and and Porter, those guys, I'm telling you, the amount of work to make all this happen, I'm telling you guys, it takes a lot. It really does. And then for me to throw that at those guys, hey, let's do a live show. It took them by surprise. They were like, what? I said, let's do it. Let's get the Hog Talk over on the live show on the YouTube channel. And some of you liked it. I could tell a lot of you weren't really digging it because you wanted me to read what you were saying, or you were upset that I wasn't talking enough. So I don't know what we're going to do, if we're going to do that again or not. If we do in the future, we could just make it a set night where maybe on Sunday nights it's just Hog Talk. And if you're into that content, if you enjoy it, then you can come in and be a part of it. Or, I don't know, maybe we just keep recording them like we have been. I don't know. But we're trying to grow ways. You got to understand, we're content creators. We're trying to find new ways to reach people. And we've had some unbelievable guests on that show. It's been crazy. Chuck Barrett, Drew Morgan. My mind's racing right now. Obviously, we've had Otis Kirk and John Neighbors. We've had some incredible guests. And I thought that would be neat to get a guest on, like Zach Arns from Ruskin and Zach, bring them on and let you guys hear them talk. So I know some of you weren't real thrilled with that last night. I apologize. I should have made that more clear that was the Hog Talk podcast, not necessarily Pig Trail. I put it on a thumbnail, but that's not really doing a good enough job. I should have been more transparent at the beginning. I should have done the opposite of what government typically does, or what the university did during their coaching search. That's what I should have done, the opposite. I should have been more transparent, not less. All right. I hope Morris goes to Auburn. Make them suck. Listen, as an offensive coordinator, I'd probably bite your tongue on that one, Pep. As an offensive coordinator, that's his strength. I don't know if he'll make it. I don't know if Gus will let him make it happen there. That's interesting. I saw that today, and I thought, I don't know the purpose of that hire if he's not going to let Chad run his offense. I think as an offensive coordinator, listen, if you're going to bring, if Urban Meyer nearly was really close to hiring Chad Morris as an offensive coordinator. That ought to tell you something. He's a good OC. Let's see. Yeah, as soon as Zach started talking, the chat went flat. Ha, 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 ha. But I agreed with him. Yeah, they didn't like it. I mean, he was brutally honest. Again, I'm honest. You guys, that's my – look, I don't know how often I get told I love your brutal honesty type. I'm honest. But I think I disagreed with him on a little bit there last night. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Ruskin and Zach today said on their radio show that because of how they handled the Norvell situation 2 years ago, which, by the way, happened, the Board of Trustees absolutely bought into some BS around Mike Norvell, and it completely burned the bridge to Arkansas for Mike Norvell. In their estimation, now Arkansas could potentially be a downed program for another 10 years. I don't know that I agree with that. That to even begin to go down that road to say that, oh, well, you know what, because they didn't get this guy, they're doomed for 10 years, that is ridiculous. I absolutely think that it takes a certain caliber of a head coach to get this thing turned around. And I think that Pittman might very well be that guy. I like the hire. I want to be on the record as saying I like the hire as far as the fit. He fits in. It's a blue-collar hire. Like I said last night, I actually took that from a friend of mine in our group chat. But he said it's a blue-collar hire for a blue-collar program for a blue-collar state, and that's absolutely dead on. That's 110% right. Listen, when you take and I get that he's pushing. He's a little bit older. He's in his late 50s. I get it. There's some reservation there. He's never been a Power 5 head coach. I'm on board. I get it. That's a little. I'm a little skeptical because of that. Right? He's walking into a not so great situation. Arguably, no, not even arguably. It is the worst that this program has been in ever in the modern age of college football. Going back, I don't know, 50 years, whatever you want to call it, throughout now, since the post-Petrino era. That's where this all started, was then, and it's just been a downhill. It's been a dumpster fire. Let's be honest, especially post Brett Bielema. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. So I don't know. I don't completely disagree with what they're saying there. To say that it's a 10-year. It's going to be 10 years before you're relevant again. That anything can happen. My God, the landscape of football. Look how much it's changed in just 6 years. Right? I mean, Clemson, who before they went on this rise, but they won the ACC 5 years straight, guys, they were a middle of the pack ACC program. LSU, Ed Orgeron was a loss or a 6 points away from damn near losing his job as the LSU head coach, and he made a change with his OC, and look at them now. I think between them and Ohio State, it's just not even close. It's like those two and everybody else. I don't give a damn about an undefeated Clemson. They're a great program, although when Clemson gets into the playoffs, you start to wonder a little bit, okay, do they really start to play some real football now that they're in the playoffs? But I think between Ohio State and LSU, those are your best two teams in the country. Look at how much has changed in that short amount of time. So I just think to say that, I heard that today, and I was like, guys, come on now. 10 years, let's get real. He'll be fine. Chad, I'm a little bit behind. Okay, also, you're a hoot. You're a hoot. Love what you do, Ty. Thank you, Kelly Marie. Again, I am sorry I'm running on fumes. I didn't actually have to work today, but I was trying to get some stuff done around the house, and then the way it works in my household, between like 2:45 until about 4:30, it is, because I got to go get my girls. They go to two different schools, and I got to pick them up from each of their schools, pick them up, and then get whatever needs to be done before I get home. Come home. And then try to get like a small window to get ready for these shows. Hopefully I have a script written out, and then if not, you know what, we're going to wing it, which lately that's been the majority of the case. But yeah, I thought last night was fun. It was, I think some people have a hard time when they hear someone talk that badly about the Razorbacks, especially Arkansas Razorbacks. It's hard to swallow. And again, I didn't agree with everything Zach had to say, but I respect his opinion. And listen, that guy is more dialed in than most of the Arkansas media. I can confirm that. I listen to what he has to say, but I can also disagree with his opinions. But it was Ruskin, I think, that said that potentially that you set yourself back 10 years because you didn't hire. Oh my God, Norvell. Sorry. Okay. All right. I am holding judgment until I see what kind of staff he could pull. So he said today. And we need to go over his numbers too, his contract numbers. I had those pulled up here just a second ago. He said today that he could have a staff 4 to 5 members on campus by the end of the week. I don't doubt that he can. He said today. I didn't get to watch the press conference. I didn't get to watch it. I listened to it on the radio. I saw the video, and I wanted to capture it and put it here for you guys in the intro. I really wanted you guys to see that. That was pretty powerful. That guy wants to be a head coach. He wants to be the head coach of the Hogs. That guy would have crawled to this job all the way from Georgia. That goes a long ways with Razorback fans. You show that kind of an emotion. You show that kind of emotion in a press conference. Yeah, there it is. I got it pulled up. That's gonna go a long way. So his deal is 5 years, $3 million annually, raise of $250,000 for 6 wins, raise of $500,000 for 7 wins, raise of $750,000 for 8+ wins. Pittman also gets a 1-year extension if Hogs make bowl game. Could happen up to 2 times during initial term, and that's from I don't know. That's from Twitter. THV11 channel THV11. By Berkowitz. I just have the notepad. I don't have the actual Twitter handle and stuff in front of me. But that's his contract. It was originally reported he had $7 million for staff. Hunter Yurchak corrected it and said it's $5 million. I've seen some people on the media make a big deal out of that. It is a big deal. That's a big difference. $2 million is a lot of money. It's still competitive within the market. It's not. You wish he had $7 million. When I saw that $7 million, I about lost it. I was like, oh my God, he's going to be able to bring in whatever he wants. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants there. That gives you and I knew that was about $1.5 million, $2 million more than what Chad Morris got. This is the exact same numbers that Chad Morris was given. He was given about $5 million to fill out his staff. And I mean, look, he pulled Chavis. Regardless of how Chavis ended up, regardless of what people at A&M and LSU were saying about him, and even Tennessee, his name brought the majority of that value. I think it was $1.5 million. Was that right? North of $1 million. That's really high for a defensive coordinator who was trending down, by the way, at A&M. He was trending down when you got that kind of talent and you're struggling. And, I defended the guy a little bit, not going to lie. I thought he would do more. I really did. I thought he would at least – I thought we'd see some improvement. I guess that was just asking too much from year 1 to year 2. No, they got worse. But One thing I think he did live up to, though, was recruiting. My gosh, the defensive lineman he was able to recruit in a short amount of time, pretty fantastic. They're in good shape along that defensive line, but they're gonna have to build. Okay, FSU fans are not happy with the Mike hire. I don't know what to think of him. Memphis, was built by somebody else. Somebody else had to rebuild that, not Norvell. Norvell took over a situation that was already trending in the right direction. If you know something about those mid-major programs, in some cases when you have that happen where the foundation's set, it's a little bit easier than it is to go into a Power 5 and do that. We saw that with Brett, right? Like Brett walked into a situation that was controlled by Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin. We were duped. We were sold on, oh, wow, look what he did at Wisconsin for 7 years. Oh, my God, he could do that here. There's no question about that, right? And then he comes here and he flops. Well, he goes up. We're going up the roller coaster, the Brett Bielema roller coaster, who, had kind of a mouthy, his wife kind of pissed off some Wisconsin fans, whatever. That was kind of the beginning of this ride, if you recall. And then after the first couple of years, you're still you're along the ride, and it just falls, right? And so it showed you a couple of things. First off, when Pittman left, this thing really went downhill, and he didn't know what he was doing. So I think it's a very similar situation. The only difference is they're getting a guy that's a non-proven, or he's not proven in Power 5. That would be my reservation if I'm a Florida State fan. But I do think it's really hard to look at that Norvell. Look at it like this. If he were coming to Arkansas, what would we be saying right now? We would be going through the roof about Mike Norvell. So I think they got a good one. I don't know if he's going to live up to their standards. Florida State should be competitive every year. Miami, the only time that school is relevant, very similar to Ole Miss, although Ole Miss doesn't have the ceiling near as close to what Miami's is, not even on the same level. When Miami's up, they're national title contenders. Ole Miss is fighting to just barely finish top 2 at their best in the SEC West. But when they're winning and they're recruiting well, which Miami usually does, but when they're recruiting well and winning at the same time, they're up to something. There's some cheating going on. Like every time, how many times has Miami been caught cheating? And they still exist. They're still around. It's incredible. The NCAA, man, they're a bunch of. But Ole Miss, it's the same thing. And with Kiffin going to Ole Miss, I know that is the ultimate question too. Like, you got to face him every year. Listen, you're going to have to face him every year. Drinkwitz at Mizzou. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet or not, but Drinkwitz to Mizzou. You're going to have to face those two guys, and then the possibility of Chad Morris being the OC at Auburn. That's going to be some. The media is going to grab a hold of that every single week. If Barry wants to be here, he will be. It's up to him. As far as I know, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Barry. As far as what we were told, he was going to be retained on the staff. Love the genuine emotion of Pittman. Total 360-degree opposite of Morris. He wants to be here, and I've said that from the beginning. Really, I want someone who's that emotional on the stage. I'm not saying he's going to get it done here. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how many times I've been asked that in DMs today. I don't know. His resume as an offensive line coach is pretty exciting. What he's been able to do, what he did here in his short amount of time here, there's some positives there that could possibly overshadow the negatives. And the biggest negatives really is that he just has no experience as a Power 5 coach. That matters. It does. We can't pretend like it doesn't. But the fact that he's familiar with Arkansas, he knows his fan base, he knows his way around campus, he knows what's up, he knows how to approach kids while being, when he was the offensive line coach here, he knows what he's in for here. When you've been around as long as he has, you have to imagine he's picked up on some things. I know he said that today in his press conference. He's picked up on some things. The fans love him. If you flip, all it's going to take, for those that are really critical, well, I shouldn't say really, for those on the fence, your independent voters, if you will, all it's going to take is for him to flip a couple of 4 stars and people are going to be bought in. I mean, that's all it's going to take. I'm not saying that that's for better or for worse, but that's all it's going to take to flip your friend at work who's skeptical of him. When you start flipping these 4 stars. But I like what he said, too. I watched that video he did with Chuck. It's about 7 minutes long, and he talked about what he wants to do. And he was talking about how you got to recruit. Was that the interview with Chuck or when he was talking to the media? I can't remember. But he said today about, You got to recruit your players. You got to recruit your staff. You got to recruit. You got to get everybody on board. I love that. I love how he said that. He's right. You're going to have to sell a downed program to people. And listen, do you think Drinkwitz could have done that? I don't think so. I really don't. Drinkwitz might work at Mizzou. I don't think he would have worked here. I just don't. Kiffin, I'm 50-50 on. Campbell, that was my guy. Not going to lie. Campbell that was really my guy. I tried not to talk about it too much. Campbell is my guy. I absolutely believe Campbell could do some things. But behind Campbell, I think as far as the things that are important to a program like building, which is, it's all about recruiting. That's the lifeblood of your program. Who of the available coaches between Campbell, Kiffin, and Pittman are in the better situation to be able to do that, to add those building blocks piece by piece, and you do that through recruiting, right? That's how you lay your foundation. We know Pittman can recruit as an offensive line coach. Can he do it as a head coach? That's the other thing. Now it's bigger. The picture's just gotten a whole lot bigger for him. Is it going to be too much for him to handle? But of those guys, then you throw in Norvell, you throw in Drinkwitz, you throw in the Boise State guy whose name for whatever reason does not stick into my head. You throw in those guys. Do they know what they're walking into here? Would they be a good fit here? The more you think about it, I just don't think they would have. I don't know if Pittman will or not, but I feel pretty confident that at least he knows what he's walking into and he knows what it takes to recruit to the University of Arkansas. I think it could potentially be a really good fit. It's going to be another one of those, just like with Chad, going to have to give him time, right? Now, if you regress as much as Chad did by year 2, his contract's pretty forgiving, actually. If he's losing, I don't have all those numbers in front of me, but it's actually pretty promising that if he doesn't work out, you're not losing your shirt on this one. You're not having to sell you're not having to sell the shirt off your back if he doesn't work out here. That's the good news. That's kind of what makes this a decent fit, because he could still be your in-between guy, upgrade your roster, and then the next guy comes in and, I don't know, God willing, he turns it around if Pittman is unable to do it. I like Pittman. When he stepped on stage and got emotional, and he has talked about, and the media has not been shy about this at all. I guess they talked to him. Things that I saw, the text messages that I saw, this guy wants this job. You're gonna have me. I'm gonna definitely give someone a chance when they're that emotional and they want the job that bad. That guy might as well be an Arkansas native. He might as well be an Arkansan. I know he's from Grove, right? Grove, Oklahoma, I think. He might as well be an Arkansan. This guy loves the program. He knows and understands, the traditions and everything that goes on here. He gets it. Man, that's a good sell. Again, it's a blue-collar hire. You got to like that, right? You got to appreciate it. Same with Campbell, says Asa. Corey, what I missed? We're just talking. That's all. Devin Bush came out of the transfer portal. Yep, he sure did. 4-star corner. Devin Bush is out of the transfer portal. Harsin, that's his name. Sorry, I don't know why that name just does not stick in the noggin. Let's see. The two coaches who coached in the SEC had hardly zero head coaching experience before they took over the respected programs. Yeah. Let's see. We need someone with giant balls, says John. Giant balls. The testicular fortitude. I think that he does. And you know what I like about him too is we know he's a solid recruiter. And then you listen to him talk to the media. He says, I'm not a slogan kind of guy. That's not what I am. I'm not flashy on the stage. I'm flashy when it matters, when I'm talking to the parents and I'm recruiting. He's flashy when it matters. I like an old ball coach. He reminds me of that old ball coach. As far as his offense, someone had asked me about that, what he's going to do on the offensive defensive side of the ball. Trench warfare is on, baby. Physical, and that's my kind of football. I don't think he's going to run. I don't think it's Brett Bielema 2.0. I don't think you're getting I formation, run the clock down. No, I think he's going to try and bring in someone who runs something dynamic on offense. The best recruiting technique that works, especially when you're in the middle of a rebuild, and I've mentioned it so many times. I used to talk about this so much my first year on YouTube doing the pig trail. Building from the inside out. That's how you do it. Those are the building blocks, man. That's how you lay that foundation. You get yourself some monsters up front. Some underrated 3-stars, some big-time 4-stars. Maybe if you're lucky, a really highly rated 4-star. You flip someone. You start building from the inside out. Man, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, man, especially in a rebuild like Arkansas's in. Is there anyone better? Again, going back to those candidates, is there anyone better to at least understand that portion of what you have to do here? And I don't know. Outside of Kiffin and outside of Campbell, I just don't know. And I like Pittman. I have way more confidence in Pittman's ability to do that. Okay, now look, again, I don't want to be – I've been accused of being both a negative Nancy and a sunshine pumper. I'm down the middle on this. I get the skepticism. The no head coaching experience does concern me. Absolutely. Because he is walking into it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. We'll have to wait and see. If in due time he gets to 8 wins consistently, but no more, where does the fan base go? And do we run him out of town like Nutt? Well, okay, Nutt was given 10 years. Nutt was given 10 years. Like, the objective is always to be better. The objective is always to improve. That doesn't mean, if you're stuck at 8 wins for 5 years, let's say you're now in year 9 and you've never done more than 7, 8 wins. Think about that 9 years from now. Yeah, they probably will start asking, okay, it's time to move on, sure. Because the objective is always to get better, to improve on what you did. And, we know what happened with Chad. He went backwards. Matt Luke being tossed around as a replacement for Sam at Georgia. Okay, I didn't see that. It's good stuff, Kelly Marie. You're head of marketing department, Kelly Marie, for the Hog Talk and for Pig Trail. When he talks football, people listen. Players take note. They do. Did you see the former players? And I get you expect that. It's very rare that you have former players. I guarantee you, the guys that were recruited by Chad, I'm gonna have a hard time believing that. I'm sure you'll get a couple that might be like, I don't know, Chad didn't do this, Chad didn't do that. But it's rare that former players come out and bash their coach, right? They usually just stay quiet, or I don't know. There was a website that was posting stuff from former players of that were transferred out of schools. I forgot the name of the site. I did a video on it. You have that, and Arkansas had one on Chad, but I still question the when you don't name a source, I'm going to be skeptical. Let's just face it. But the good thing is, though, he is heavily endorsed by a lot of other coaches. That's the great thing about Pittman. That's something that does kind of sell you a little bit on him, right? Alex, let's get there first. Oh, I couldn't agree more. Got to get there first, absolutely. Well, the thing is, this is from Z Bazinger. Excuse me. The thing is Pittman he actually wants the job. You can see how emotional he got after. Emotional he got. I really should have grabbed my glasses. And he wants to be here. That passion shows. That his heart is in it. Well, and that's great, and I'm all for that. And that'll win over a Razorback crowd like that in a Razorback 30 minutes. Razorback minute. It's supposed to be New York minute. You know how fast things go in New York. Things don't go that fast down in Arkansas. So a New York or an Arkansas millisecond. How about that? You'll win over the fan base if you can walk on stage and show the emotion and the want to, and that's great. It's going to take more than that, though. We also need to understand that. He's also less stubborn than Brett, in my opinion. More savvy, smarter. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I think I heard somewhere Joe Brady was returning to LSU next year. Nutt ran himself out, period. Yeah, he did. There's 10 years. 10 years with that kind of, like, he got better, then he kind of went down, and they got into some trouble there early on, and he still, if the way he came out those first 2 years was great, and he got off to a great start. I have a hard time seeing Pittman doing that, especially with Notre Dame on your schedule as part of your non-con. But let's see, when do I get my official stationery? Is the stationery still a thing? I don't know. I'll give you I don't know. How about this? How about my Black Apple 4-pack? The rings here. This is pretty clever. You have to. I've never actually seen this until I bought a Black Apple 4-pack. But you just unclick these little It's clever. That's clever. You know, whoever sold that patent made millions of dollars. Let's see. Way too early, but expectations for next season. For me, I asked Zach that question. Nobody wanted to answer that last night, and I that's kind of why I asked it. I wanted to see their gut response to year one. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I'm somewhere. If you get 3 wins next year, you have to be okay with that. Right now, we'll see when he gets his staff put together, what kind of recruiting class. You know, we were talking on Discord last night about. Well, I say last night, that might have been at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock this morning. But we talked about like how to get things going quicker. And I said there's 4 letters. And it's JUCO, JUCO. That's like that. If you want to really start to get this thing turned around, and someone brought up transfer portal, yeah, all of that. Get these older guys, a little bit more mature, guys who've played at a level higher than high school, go that route. And God only knows what you can do in the first couple of years if you can grab yourself some respectable JUCO players. I absolutely hope that's the route that he takes. If you hear my kid coughing, I don't know what's going on. She's got some major allergy issues going on, and her cough is really loud, and these walls are hella thin. Sorry about that. But I was kind of waiting on her school to be like, yeah, no, we can't. You gotta come pick her up. We gave her medicine this morning, and she has an inhaler. It's still not doing it. It's not kicking it. And you can hear her just coughing her little heart out. Let's see. Hey, Ty, you don't need glasses. You need a can of cider. I do need a can of cider. I'm going to have to drive down to Black Apple down on Emma Street. Those guys should pay me. They should pay me. I had someone actually text me and said that, hey, I called down there and I'm gonna run down there and pick up my first case. Thanks a lot. I don't know if you can buy them by the case. They're real, like it's kind of, it's a little pricey, but it's good stuff. Definitely worth it. Eric Jackson, Nevada, toss-up, Charleston Southern. In ULM. I think they can get to 3 next year. Right now, again, that's an unofficial, just off-the-wall guess. Obviously, as the offseason comes up, spring football and recruiting, you get it all out of the way. We get closer and closer through the summer. I'll have a more accurate, you know how it goes. For those of you who've been around long enough, you'll know I'll post something. If you don't have speed, you suck, Chad Morris. Yeah. I guess 3 to 4 wins would be an improvement. Unfortunately, it would, wouldn't it? That's terrible, right? That's the situation that you're in. And some Hawk fans just cannot come around to that. But it's like, look, the last 2 years, really the last 3 years should be more than enough evidence to show you that this is going to be a challenge for those guys. I don't know why I have my Ruskin and Zach. Let me turn that off. I'm sorry. And the Hog Talk. They're not here tonight. Is it that one? There we go. I also wanted to take a minute here really fast. I was going to do this at the beginning or possibly at the end, but I want to do it now. Fayetteville got hit pretty hard. The community's, kind of in a tough spot. They had a police officer shot and killed, executed. I believe that was, I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. I'm sorry, I don't have all the details. But I'll tell you, the last 48 hours have been absolutely crazy. Hit the community pretty hard. And I wanted to just say, take a little time out. Did not expect that. Police officer was executed. I know some guys. I know a guy on the force in Fayetteville. Actually was my resource officer in high school. And, he was obviously pretty close to the police officer that was executed. Sorry, I did not expect that. I just wanted to take a minute to think. every police officer for what they do. I think it hits hard because it's Fayetteville. I did not expect that. I'm so sorry. There's a GoFundMe up, and I wanted to show it to you guys. Stephen Carr Memorial Fund. But here's the details here. I'll give you guys a link in the description or in the chat there. Here's a piece here for the donation. Donations can also be sent to the FOP, and there's your P.O. Box, Fayetteville, Arkansas 72701. It was tough. I don't know why. Like, I didn't know the officer personally. I just, I guess because you hate to hear that anywhere. You really hate to hear that anywhere. Man, when it's in your backyard. Haven't really had time to kind of think about it because of all the stuff going on with the coaching search. But if you guys want to donate, I'll give you guys the link. Just keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. I don't know why I'm struggling so much. I've got a friend on the police force here in Springdale, good guy, and I know it hit them hard. I know it hit the community really hard, and it was unfortunate. And I know everyone will get through it together, and you hate to see that anywhere, but again, especially when it's in your own backyard in Arkansas, it's just I really love my state. I really do. I love Fayetteville, and I love my state. And it's just unfortunate. There's some sick people in this world, and I try to keep politics out and all that stuff out of here, but this world's sick, man. I mean, just sick. All right, we can get back on track. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I did not expect that at all, but I wanted to do that. So if you guys feel like donating, please do at the link, the GoFundMe. All right, let's get back to football. Wow. How do you do that? How do you just drop that in the middle of all this, Ty, and then go back to it? I don't know how. I probably should have just waited till the end. But I was kind of, I'm not going to lie, it was in the back of my head, and I was like, might as well. Let's go ahead and put that out there. And that way we can continue the show, and I can continue to show you guys the link too if you need it. And I will provide that as well in our Discord. But yeah. All right. The recruiting is going to have to come around for this thing to get put back together, right? That's what's going to have to happen for this thing to get going. And Sam Pittman is, I think, the guy to get that done. When you talk about rebuilding from the ground up, that's what it's all about. If you can somehow manage to build, just build on top of the layer by layer, brick by brick, and you do that with recruiting. So I'm excited. I'm excited from that aspect, and I'm ready. You guys know how I feel about recruiting. I am just absolutely recruiting is my thing. Love it. I love keeping up with it. I love keeping up with the players. We've gotten to a point too where sometimes we get to talk to these kids in the DMs, and it's really a privilege. Yeah, his GoFundMe. Yeah, that's really cool. It really is. I appreciate chat, you guys. I'm not. Again, this isn't. I should have waited till the end. Damn it! I really should have waited till the end. Listen at funerals. It's ridiculous. I can't. I just can't turn it off. It gets ridiculous. Who should be the main targets before we go? What? You have to use the blender? Like, what do you want me to do? Mute the...
No, I'm just telling you it's going to work well.
Go ahead. I guess my wife's going to use the blender for dinner. That's fine. Let's see how loud this gets. We may just... I don't know. I don't want to end the show, and It's okay. The dinner she's cooking, I'm not really on board. I'm not going to lie. I'm not completely on board, so I'll just be like, oh, this just tastes like regret because you interrupted my show. Hurdy's working on time to meet with Jacoby. Yeah, tomorrow he is expected sometime this week to meet with Jacoby. And listen, you lost Chandler. There was your other guy, right? Chandler was your other guy, and I know that there was some criticism about him and the bias with his dad, and you passed up on Jacoby, and here you are. You're I think it's gotten his attention. The problem is trying to get him away from North Carolina. That's going to be tricky. I don't hear it yet. I don't hear the blender. Trying to do these live shows. I hear it now. It's not that bad. Can you guys hear it? I don't really. Wow, Miss Ty with the blender. Do you guys hear it? I know she feels terrible. Listen, the things that my wife does to make this happen, she's got to close off the rest of the house with the kids. It's not easy. I'm telling you, to get these shows going, there's so much work that not only that I have to do, then she has to get the kids and push them onto the other side of the house. And then she's trying to cook dinner, This is why Friday shows are usually, you're lucky to get going by 6. There's been some Friday nights we've not been able to go until 6:30. My 10-month-old cries when we turn on the blender. Aw. Yeah, our youngest, Adeline, she's now 5, but she hated the vacuum cleaner. She would run for the hills, and that kid's not afraid of anything. You turn the vacuum cleaner on, it's over. You can't hear it. Okay, good. All right, we'll just continue. Yeah, flip Criswell. I wonder if you can flip Jacoby and then go after, I don't know, certain 4 stars out of Texas, certain I don't know, Garrett Hayes, who's currently committed to TCU. You've got Tykees Crawford. I would love to see him flip those 2. I don't know that he will, because obviously he's going to have to get his pipeline set up here, right? He's going to have to get his staff on and then recruit to their strengths. You guys know where I'm at with it. Recruit the living crap out of East Texas. That's where it needs to happen. That's where this needs to go down. And I think that he could do that. And I've heard that he actually, when he was here, he did recruit Texas. I can't remember. That's been a while now, but you guys don't hear that? That is loud. But he's going to have to get his pipeline set up. I would love for him. My philosophy has always been surrounding states, especially the southern borders and then the western sides of the states to your east, just over the Mississippi. Get into Memphis. We've had some luck in going into Mississippi, and then obviously down in the northern part of Louisiana. We've seen them kind of go down into Louisiana or go down into New Orleans and grab some guys. You got to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then you dip your hand into the giant cookie jar, which is Texas, and especially East Texas. That's my philosophy, and I think that's what Houston Nutt believed in. That's what he recruited to. Petrino did some of that. Brett Bielema didn't. You saw how recruiting went south, and then Chad Morris comes in, and he's able to recruit the living crap out of East Texas. You're going to tell me that Pittman can't? And I know he's got some. Strong connections, obviously down in the southeast part of the world, down in Florida and Georgia and in Alabama. I know he's got some connections down there. The question is, at that point, can you compete? Can you compete against those programs with Arkansas being as bad as it is? It's. I think we all have to agree that things are worse with post Brett Bielema, post Chad Morris, into what we've got now. Things are worse than it was Brett Bielema. God, I'm slipping. Ugh. Brett Bielema taking over with a 1-year John L. Right? Things are worse. And so it's not going to be as easy like when Brett Bielema was able to walk down into Florida and grab guys like Alex Collins, Denver Kirkland, so on and so forth. Eventually he'd bring on, Frank Ragnow, and he caught a diamond in the rough like Dan Skipper. It's going to be a little bit harder sell than what it was even just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So there's a lot there you're going to have to overcome. But if you can flip these kids, if you can convince them, especially before early signing period, oh man. This is how you'll kind of know where they're headed in, because I don't know that you get anybody to sign early that's not already committed to the program. But and they will. I should take that back. They will. But if you convince other kids that are committed elsewhere to avoid early signing period, then Arkansas's got, they're heavy favorites, or maybe they're in their top 3, and they avoid signing early, getting through the early signing period without signing to whoever. You've got a shot, and I think that's going to speak to that's just going to speak volumes to what he can do as a head coach as far as getting guys flipped. I bet he flips 0 from Georgia. That'd be tough. Yeah, I don't expect any of those commitments. I could be wrong. We're in the infancy stage of his of him being the head hog and taking over as the head coach. We don't know what his recruiting picture looks like. We know he's talking to Criswell, to Jacoby. He's married to North Carolina, guys. That's not going to be easy. I know there's going to be people that if he can't convince him to flip, there's going to be people that are going to take shots at Pittman for that. Listen, since Chad Morris just kind of gave him the cold shoulder, it's just giving you that much time to sell him on your program, which is currently North Carolina. Luke Jones will be available next year, as far as I know. Yeah, he's going to be good to go next year, the Notre Dame transfer. Hopefully we can keep Lenny mostly for recruiting purposes. Yeah, for in-state purposes. And that was the other thing I didn't agree with Zach on last night. He thought it was kind of whatever, you can hire anybody to come in. Have we ever had this kind of success at the tight end position since Barry Lenny has been the tight end coach? Do you think it's that easy to just walk into Arkansas and turn that position around like he did? Don't get me wrong. It helps when you're recruiting 4-star, top 3, top 5, top 10 tight ends, but he's recruited them. He recruited most of them. I don't know that I agreed with Zach and the HTP guys on that. I'm in a different area with that. I think you absolutely need to keep Barry on the staff, not just because of what he did as a tight end coach, but obviously his ability to coach the position and to recruit the state. That's his strengths. Early signing day will tell us everything we need to know about year 1 and 2, says Moto. I'm not going to go as far as saying like year 2. That's a lot of recruiting. A lot of things happen between now and year 2 and getting into that part of the recruiting cycle. Let's see. He needs to sell it like he's going to take your kids to win a championship in 2 years. Well, no, I don't know that I agree with that. I think you sell it like, listen, I put guys into the NFL. I mold guys. I'm arguably the best offensive line coach in all of college football. I mold players. I could do the same thing for your son. And yeah, by the way, Northwest Arkansas has a hell of a lot to offer. If the NFL doesn't work out, if you want your kid to stick around or come back and get a degree, my God, the U of A has connections. And no, not every college town has that luxury like Northwest Arkansas. I'm sorry. I got to disagree with people that say that. There's some universities, they're in the middle of an absolute shithole and they can't get it turned around, or excuse me, they can't sell that as far as the recruiting pitch that, hey, you come back here, you've got the amenities that Northwest Arkansas has. Are you kidding me? Yeah, don't get me wrong, the bigger cities, the schools next to bigger cities and higher populated areas can, but not every school is located in those areas. Let's see, how are we at running back? Traylon Smith. Yeah, Traylon Smith, I can't wait. I don't know. Don't ask me about Rakeem Boyd. I really have no idea where he's at as far as to whether or not if he's gonna come back. What I was told halfway through the year, and I took it with a grain of salt, was that, and at that point in time, he was leading the SEC in rushing, or he's number 2, I think, at the time. And I had seen where the belief was, and this is from a member of the media who said that no matter what, he's going pro. That he didn't want to come back because of the staff outside of his running back coach, who he really did like and who is no longer here. So I have a hard time seeing him come back. I don't know how much truth there is to him wanting to bolt for the NFL right now, or if he didn't like Chad. I know one thing: he was severely underutilized with Chad Morris. How the hell that guy averaged only like 12 to 13 carries a game is beyond me, and still had the kind of numbers that he had. But I have a hard time seeing Boyd coming back. If he does, that could change the landscape by just a little bit next year. It really could, especially if you get your offensive line going. Hi, Tommy. I'm not Tommy. I don't know who you're talking to, but I'm definitely – oh, that must be someone in chat, because Castle Lord knows who I am. Pittman was Pittman was nothing until Bielema got a hold of him. That's what Brett Bielema would have you believe. Do you think they retained Stat maybe for similar reasons to Lunny? That's a good question. I don't. I really don't. I shouldn't say that. I really don't know. I have no idea what he's thinking. I'm way behind on all the stuff. He talked quite a bit to the media today. That's something else. He seems to not be afraid to come in and talk. That's very reminiscent, and I'm not trying to compare him to Musselman, but you remember when Musselman came in? That guy was interviewed by everybody. I mean, the kid down the street with a podcast, I'm pretty sure, was able to interview Musselman. We should have got him on the show. I don't know why we never tried to reach out to him, and I don't know why. We've been able to get these other, we've had Mike Neighbors on and Chuck Barrett and all these guys. I don't know why we didn't reach out to get him on the show. Maybe we will. But he was doing all kinds of interviews. Pittman's kind of doing the same thing. That's interesting. I wonder if that's a Hunter Yurachek kind of like a tactical thing. Get out and talk to the media and be friendly. I don't know. If I'm Boyd, I'm chunking deuces. Okay. That could be taken 2 different ways, not going to lie. That could either be I'm out or, bathroom potty time. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think he leaves. You assume the trailer leaving would play a big role with him moving on. Yeah, I agree. Due to his injury issues alone, he, for himself, probably should go ahead and go. Boyd is gone. Stop kidding yourselves. I think he is gone, but I think he would benefit from one more year. The running back position, though, guys, it's all about durability. Obviously, guys like Zeke, Todd Gurley, Swift, who I don't know how he looks as far as the draft. You got that level of talent, but that position now in the NFL, it's like it doesn't have the longevity that it once had, and they just don't last long. So the more you're in college, and these kids know that, if you don't think they're talking to people about that, they are. They may not be talking to agents necessarily, but they're talking. They know that position, you're a pinball. The abuse those guys take, and it wears on them, and they know that. The longer you stay in college, the more you're risking things. And that's what I'm curious to see, too, with him. I love seeing former Hogs going on and doing something great. I'm really curious because I think he'll get the Combine invite, assuming he decides to leave, and I think he will. I'm curious to see where he goes, if where he goes in the draft. And we consider the kind of production he had in this kind of season is pretty incredible, actually. You mean 3-9? It's his chance. I don't know what you're talking about. What did I say? Like I said, I'm running on fumes. If I'm messing up, I probably am. I'm probably making some mistakes. I'm running on fumes. Jonathan Taylor is Iron Man. Is it the running back transfer from Arizona State still on the roster? Yes. Yes, he is. Yeah, and supposedly, kid is a baller. Kid is a baller. So, we'll wait and see. Greg says 9-3 next season. Greg, I don't know about that, my man. I'm not really so sure. Let's see. Scroll up to chat here. See if I know I miss. Let's see. Until he spends the money on recruiting, we will always be last in the SEC. My man, $5 million is pretty competitive, Philip. I don't know if you're still in chat, but $5 million is competitive. $7 million is, don't get me wrong, $7 million puts you at the top. Like, that's, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, he's going to be able to get whoever he wants here. $5 million is a pretty big difference, but that's still really competitive. Let's see. Yeah, it was weird. They kept saying to ask Barry Lunny himself. Makes me wonder if he's leaving. Yeah, I wouldn't be, for anyone who thinks you can just replace Barry, I don't know. I just don't think, like, how often do you have that kind of output at that position? You know, when you think about it, like, not very often, especially at Arkansas. It's, you know, and he had to recruit these guys that people want to say, well, look, he had these 4-star kids. Yeah, but you still have to recruit them. You had to do, there's a process that happens. How many other 4-stars, even 5 stars? Remember Winston? A cornerback, 5-star at Arkansas, kid never panned out, barely saw the field. Just because they have star power next to their name doesn't mean you can skip out on development, right? He still had to evaluate and develop and get him ready for the next level, and he's done that. And I really hope to God that they're able to keep him. Let's see. Was there any word on what really happened with C.J. O'Grady? Nothing that I know of. I do know he just didn't always agree with the staff. That's all I've ever heard. But I don't know that it's always resulted in these kind of, you know, in any kind of loud back and forth or any kind of real, you know what I mean? No throwing equipment in the locker room, anything like that. I think it probably, my guess would be, I don't know this, my guess would be that he and Chad Morris just didn't see eye to eye. But then again, even when Barry Lunny took over for 2 games, they still didn't allow him back with the team. So I don't know. I do think Cheyenne's NFL talent. I'm not going to say he's going to be great at the NFL, but he's NFL talent. He's at least capable, I think, of making a roster. He's that kind of guy. Let's see. If he's able to pull a couple of grad transfers, we should be good. It's going to be a little bit more difficult than that, Nate Dogg. 1550. It's going to be a little bit more complicated than that. You're going to have to build a really strong recruiting class, and you're going to have to convince like 98% of these kids to stick around. You can't have any transfers along the line of scrimmage. Linebacker position, I swear, if they lose anybody, I don't care if it's their 4th string walk-on from I don't know, Toad Suck, Arkansas. You can't afford that. You're going to need all hands on deck, especially at the linebacker position. You cannot afford any transfers. If you can keep everyone, it's going to happen. You're going to lose somebody because someone's not happy that their coach got let go, and it's not always on the guy that comes in to take the job. Like sometimes they don't connect. It's not who recruited them. It's not who's been there throughout their time on campus, and they peace out. It just happens. But if you're able to do that, that's a good place to start. If you're able to keep these guys on board, it's a real good place to start. Okay, we're at an hour. Okay. I want to thank you guys so much for coming through. I really do appreciate it. Devin Bush is back on the roster, so that's a plus. Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. You've got Bush. That's huge. That's a 4-star. That's a 4-star corner who was hitting the portal. And I said when he put his name or was going to put his name in the portal. I don't know if did he ever actually officially put his name in the portal. I know they said he was not with the team technically. I guess he did because he had to withdraw his name. Well, when that happened, I thought, oh man, like that could be your next guy in the secondary. You can't afford to lose him. But yeah, that was big. Keep these guys home. Keep them here. Hit the JUCO. I hope they target the crap out of JUCO players. Build this thing brick by brick. and let's get it moving. Let's play some physical damn football because that's what Sam Pittman does, man. He brings that physicality back that we haven't had in a while. And hopefully he's able to get it going as the head coach. He can get this thing at least headed in the right direction. You know, someone said, what do we do down the road if he's winning 8 games a year? That's still a good problem to have, and we'll have to reflect on where we've been versus where we're at that point in time, which I hope we do, but that's asking a lot of a fan base. Ty seemed to Chad Morris was mostly talk, but I think Pittman can deliver. Let's see. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'm sure they'll add a running back or two. Yeah, I think so too. Ty, great show, buddy, as always. I appreciate it, Truck. I did not expect to turn on the waterworks earlier. I did not expect that until I hit the live button, and then I started dreading it. And I was like, let's knock it out. Let's just get it out of the way and then continue the show. But I do appreciate you guys sticking through that. Yeah, exciting times. I'm not saying I'm completely bought in, because I try to be as unbiased as I can, but I am still a fan. I'm a Razorback fan. Proud to admit it. Love my Hogs. I hope this is the guy. I hope that he can do it. And I had someone ask me this too, and I didn't answer it, but would you have preferred Campbell? And the answer is yes. I would have preferred Campbell. But that doesn't mean that Pittman can't get it done here. We're going to have to watch this thing develop. You know, we'll be here. My plan is I'm not going anywhere. Every Monday and Friday I'm right here, and we'll talk it through together. How about that? Maybe with some cider in our hands. GoFundMe link, please, Ty. Yeah, well, okay, let me get that for you really quick. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that. There's some more details there. I think there's also, you can check it out on Facebook too. There's they're planning a well, they had a thing today on 49 on I-49 where the local police took part. I thought that was really cool. Hog Talk support section game 1, says Matthew. Yeah, I saw that. You guys, hey, let's make it happen. We'll do it with the spring game. How about that? We'll get a banner made. They're not that expensive, believe it or not. We have a Hog Talk podcast banner, and I don't think that thing costs $20, $30. Another great show, Ty. Good night from Hog fans. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I will see you Friday night. Well, wait. When is it? You know what? I was going to look at the basketball schedule really quick. When's the next basketball game? I know they got a little break here. If it's who do they have? Who's next up? Really quick. That's right. Tulsa on the 14th. We might do. Well, we'll have a show by then. Yeah, we'll have a show before then. I was going to say we could do a live show for that. But we will. When the time comes, we'll probably have a post-game show for that. But, yeah, we'll be live Friday night. Look forward to it. And that's it. Remember to like, comment, share the content, all that wonderful stuff. I don't know why I said comment, because you guys are clearly doing that. But please check out the links down below to all the Patreon supporters. You guys are all-stars. And everyone in chat, you're all all-stars for supporting me. I really do mean that. You guys make it that much more special. To all the donations and everything, you guys rock. But don't, if you're thinking about donating to me, don't. I'm going to ask that you do it to that GoFundMe. I know later on someone might come along. Go to the GoFundMe and do it. That's I know they've raised a little bit of money over there. Keep doing it. Keep throwing the money over there if you want to donate. And till Friday, woo pig, and I'll see you then.